That is what I'm eating. I'm having, y'all see, I'm having, what's it called? A piece of cinnamon toast, sourdough bread, and 4 strips of, what's it called? 4 strips of turkey bacon. And I wanted to have 2 eggs with it, but that should be enough. And a cup of tea, Earl Grey tea. Miss Nail has been under the weather, or the weather has been under me. It is so cold in here. It is cold. It is colder than I've ever seen the thermostat. On the coldest day. Even on the coldest day. One time we were away and the heat wasn't on. And we got a fluke weather. Like sourdough bread is what makes the cinnamon toast so much better. Anyway, we had to come back, so obviously the pipes wouldn't freeze. And it wasn't even this cold. Anyway, it is dark, it is gloomy, and it is overcast. Yesterday was kind of the same thing, but then it got real sunny out. So Miss Nell has her season light, her fake sunlight lamp or whatever. And I'm going to be plugging that in today. I already got everything ready to weather the stormy, cloudy days. I'm not a winter person. Not a winter person at all. It has been a long time since I sat at this table and conversated with my own self. My face is all bloated. I don't know what's going on with me. Autoimmune and all sorts of stuff going on. And I've just been so super, super tired. Super beyond tired. And sometimes I get that way when the weather starts to change. I get that way so it doesn't alarm me. But I'm just going to allow myself to process it. Sometimes we can be on the path to whatever. It doesn't matter if it's recovery or bettering ourselves or finding new fame and glory, whatever. And sometimes we just need to let ourselves be. We don't have to be on ourselves every day. Like, I had my accident, I had my surgery. I'm going on a weight loss journey. I'm, trying to eat healthier and all this stuff and trying to better my mind. And oh my gosh. And I just said to myself, for F's sakes, maybe you're trying too much. Like, you don't want to slow yourself down and give yourself self-doubt and all that stuff. But maybe you are not a machine. You're a human being. And maybe you don't need to be on yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't want a drill sergeant standing ahead of you telling you what to do all the time. So don't be that yourself. You wouldn't be saying to your friend, well, what are you eating now? What are you doing? Oh, you're not bettering yourself. You're not stealing. You're doing negative self-talk. You wouldn't be in your friend's face 24 hours a day telling them to better themselves. So don't do it to your own self. And I'm trying to do YouTube. Mediocre, just building my channel. But I'm not really doing the YouTube I want to do. I'm just doing this in the meantime till I get my ish together, and then I can revamp my channel. But I'm still trying to stay consistent. You know what? Like I said, I used the sourdough bread with this, and then I didn't use any cinnamon. I just used the pumpkin spice. And I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like that. And I sprinkled way too much. And I actually do like it. I like it better than the cinnamon. I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Do not ask what Miss Nails got on today. She's got on her pajama pants. I figure people just think they're leggings. I got to go outside and mow the lawn, and I think this will be the last time I have to mow the lawn this season, thank God. Anyway, get you one of these. Everybody always laughs at me because I got all these not electric tools. Well, guess what? Ms. Nail is always prepared. I bought this one from Amazon, but buy it from wherever you want. Wake up, wherever, whatever. But anywho, I always have stuff that that I can use in case of a power outage. I can make some, you know, I'd obviously have to cook outside, but I used to be a prepper. I used to be super paranoid. I don't call it paranoid, I call it prepped. But anyway, look at that. I got my own hair on my fork. Dear God. I pay more attention when I cook for other people, but when I cook for myself, I don't care what it looks like. It'll be a big mushy mess. I don't care. Anyway, and now I just tell myself, I obviously have water on hand and some canned goods and my teas and stuff like that, but I just said to myself, just let God handle it. Just let God handle it. You got to have your 3 days. My personal opinion, have 2 weeks supply of food and water. And if you got little babies, like, if ish hits the fan, I can go to the creek and get some water. Now, if I had a little baby, I don't want to have to take the baby to the creek every day to get water. You know what I'm saying? So keep stuff on hand. And when you are in a crisis like that and you got to go gung-ho and hunt and cook and fish and everything without power, it gets tiring. You're tired. So just keep on hand what you think you can handle. If you think, oh, okay, a couple days supply of water and then I'll go fetch my own, or I'm going to eat squirrels for the next 3 weeks. If you're okay with that, then you don't have to prep too much. But I watched, I ain't going to shout him out, but I watched a YouTuber do a squirrel, prep a squirrel for eating. And I said to myself, I hate squirrels and raccoons so much, I don't think I could ever eat. I don't think I'd ever eat a raccoon. No, I would not eat a raccoon. I'd eat greens. I'd eat the grass before I ate a raccoon. But a squirrel, there's plenty of them. They're easy to find. They're easy to hunt. And I got my grandbabies, so they got to eat. I might not want to eat the squirrel, but if I had to prep the squirrel for my grandbabies, I better know how to do it. Basically, anything. And I also heard this guy say the same thing. He said, what do you mean teach you how to hunt? You just got to aim your arrow or your pew pew, and shoot it. It was, now I'm going to get banned, whatever, shadow banned. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? All these city folk, they think they got to have all these special skills. Well, obviously you got to be able to, be able to know how to aim and stuff like that. But I mean, when you're in a survival mode, you're going to know how to do stuff. You're going to learn real quick. But anyways, and that's the same with the squirrels. Same as a fish. You're going to take out the innards and, blah, blah, blah. It's not that hard to prep. But I just wanted to watch him do it. In case there was some sort of gland or something that's toxic or whatever. And so I did it. I didn't do it. I learned. I've caught squirrels before. But I don't think I could eat them. Them or the baby rabbits. So, anyways, getting back to my point. I'm going to just leave it all to God. And one of my relatives, I won't say who it is, but he has this theory. He's probably more religious than me, but whatever. No, it's not such a thing, but I'm just being silly. And he says, God puts the opportunity in front of me, I'm going to take it. Just like I'm going to take food. Like, he's not going to get to robbing people. But we do know bad people we could rob. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, don't come down to my path and take from the elderly neighbors and stuff like that. No. But I mean, I wouldn't take from them at all. I'd protect them. But you got to do what you got to do. So, that's his way of thinking, that God will give him the opportunity to take what he needs from where he needs to take it from. That don't apply to normal everyday life. It just applies for those days, for the bad, for the real bad day. But anyway, it's the same with the hurricane. Prayers to those people, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, all them places. That is terrible. God does, it's not that God give them the hurricane. It's not that God had that happen to those people. But it's really showing us, the lesson, all that, it's really showing us where humanity's at. Making them people suffer out there. That is a horrible, horrible situation. Imagine you're in another country and you're waiting on the Americans to come rescue you and bring you supplies. And they always come through and they're going to help, and they do. And you're in your own damn country of America and you're waiting for the Americans, your own people, to bring you supplies and help and all that, and they don't bring it. That is so effing ludicrous. It blows my mind. So anyway, my point is that God most certainly ain't punishing those people. He's showing us what evil's doing to those people by not freeing up funds for them and by not giving them supplies that they need right away. And then the thing that blew my effing mind was, I think it was North Carolina, I'm not sure, but anywho, the guy and his wife they're stranded in their house, and I believe they were on the mountain. They might not have been on the mountain way, but they're up elevated somewhere. And so this gentleman, God bless him, he comes along his helicopter with his son, and he takes the man's wife down. And when he gets down there, the fire is the head chief, pardon me, is waiting down there, and he says, don't interfere with our rescue and operation. And the helicopter pilot says, well, I got to go back up there because my son is waiting up there with the woman's husband that needs to be rescued. And the fire chief says, if you rescue that man, I'm going to have you arrested when you get back down here. What? Now, those are situations when you look away. You might know the law, and maybe he would have been arrested in another circumstance or whatever. You as a fire chief just look away. Oh, I didn't see nothing, didn't hear nothing. So anyways, the man goes back up the hill, And he gets his son and he says, I'm sorry, sir, I can't bring you back down because if I do, the fire chief's going to have me arrested. So the man got all worried and everything. Granted, he should have been relaxed that his wife at least had been rescued. But anyways, he gets all, blah, 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 and worried and everything. So he says, all right, whatever, he can't do nothing. So he starts making his way down the hill by himself. Well, there's a Russian river there, and it's, very treacherous. So the fire chiefs and whatever, the people there, they said, we have your wife, and we're going to rescue now with a rope going over this Russian river. How dangerous is that? Why wouldn't you just look away and let them be brought down the helicopter? Are they getting some sort of kickback from? I know they get paid sometimes per rescue. Well, that was horrible. That was horrible. Look away. This is a human tragedy. Look away. If there was something and I had to break into the grocery store, the church to get some canned goods, and some officer of the law come and saw me, I hope he would look away. It's an emergency, sir. But anyway, I hope that fire chief gets fired. Because that's awful. That is awful. And the couple wasn't elderly, but they weren't young. Give them a break. Maybe young people can wait up there, but whatever. They're got to be middle-aged, a little older than middle-aged. Leave them be. Just let the helicopter man do what he wants. Oh my God. You think there's going to be a lawsuit? If someone saves my life, you think I'm going to be suing anyone? No. The county shouldn't have had to worry about it at all. Anyways, Miss Nell's rambling today. But I gotta ramble to get my hours up. I don't know what I'm getting my hours up for, because I don't even think I could have produced enough content to keep YouTube going. But if I get my content better. But I think I'd rather just focus on fixing myself up, do what I need to do, and do acting. And that way, someone else writes the scripts, someone else is directing it. I can rest my brain on that part. And then just say the lines. I don't know how well that would go over with my new memory loss thing going on. Every 4 seconds I'd be saying, line please, and they'd say, listen, Ms. Nell, you're a mediocre actress. We don't need you on the set. You can be replaced. Yeah, the sourdough bread makes this real good. Anyway, I made a whole video. I'm going to wrap this up soon. I made a whole video on my anxiety because this other girl made one on her anxiety. And then I was lying awake at night thinking, oh my God, are people going to actually watch that? And I woke up and I deleted it. But the main point in the video was that anxiety, when you have anxiety, you get a physical response. So a lot of times I was told, get over it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't that I couldn't handle it in my mind. It's that I couldn't handle the physical repercussions of it. And the physical repercussions of anxiety wear you down. They are exhausting and tiring and I don't know, whatever else. But I don't know what kind of mood I was in, because I was feeling, earlier this year, I was feeling like I could take on the world. And then sometimes the world just hits you and says, we're fighting back. But you got to get back up. Get back up. Dust yourself off. You got to do what you got to do. You got to live another life. Take another route. But you got to keep doing it. And I will keep doing it. And sometimes, and that's okay. You just got to tell yourself, you got to have the dark days to appreciate the light sometimes. I had a friend. It was bipolar. And when her meds were all acting up or whatever, her dark days were dark. But anyways, I tried my best to be her friend. And it is exhausting to be friends with someone when their meds ain't right. But she brought me this little card to put on my fridge. And when she gave it to me, I think I got depressed myself. Anyways, it was a little card, and it said, a friend is someone who comes in when the whole world has gone out. It's pretty dark. But it resonated with me. You feel like the whole world is caving in on you. And no one is on your side. And you're not going to be able to dig yourself out of the hole. And when you get to be my age, you have to say, holy, I've been in this hole before, and I dug my way out. So if anything, my arms should be stronger from shoveling myself out of this pile of poop that I got myself into. So you keep going. But I know it's hard when you got people, you got to deal with people you don't want to deal with. You got to put up with a boss or a other person that just has a little bit of reign over you, and you just can't tell them to F off. But I do one of these. You know, any of you watched Kids in the Hall? There's a Canadian comedy troupe, and they had some good stuff. Well, they all became very successful. But anyway, in one of the skits, the man is standing across the road. They do a couple of them, actually. He's standing across the road, and he'd do these. He'd do, I'm crushing your skull. I'm crushing your skull. And he would pretend that the person's head is in there, you know, and he'd crush it. And I always tell people that I work with or that are going through stuff, I said, just do your little skull crusher thing. Just do this. Just pretend you're crushing their skull. And it gives you a sense of relief. Anyways, I feel much better that I talked to y'all. Rather than sit here and talk to myself. But, yeah. You just told her to persevere and go through it and then write it in your journal. Journaling, talking about it. Like I said, that girl, before I went on my rant, that girl went through the same anxiety thing as I did and the same injury, blah, blah, blah. There's been a couple of them now to offer me a lot of support. And, yeah, I forget what I was going to say. But just to hear her say her little story, it just makes you, okay, someone else is going through this right now. Someone else is doing this. I had another lady tell me that she went through it. Now she's out of it. She's in the clear now. But it's just a different way of life for me. But I'll get used to it. And just dealing with a whole lot of stuff. But anyways, I wanted to tell this story. I made a video before about it. And I'm going to let you go. Excuse me. When I was real deep in the dumps, or whatever you want to call it, I was young, and I lived with a roommate, and when sometimes ask yourself when you're journaling and all that stuff, ask yourself, because sometimes depression will be no reason. There'll be no reason. You're just low, whatever. Sometimes there'll be a reason. Something happens and it gives you a reason to be depressed. I was reacting to everything that had just compiled over the years, and I hadn't been able to express my anger, my frustration about, and it all just piled up. I know that now. As I got older, I figured that out. But anyways, when I was young and I'm living there, I got real low, and my boyfriend at the time wasn't really around. He was only seeing me maybe, I don't know, once a week or something like that. I don't even know that much. And he was my like sole supporter, whatever. And I got along with my roommates, but we would always get to fighting and whatever. But I went real low. I wasn't seeing my family. I wasn't seeing, people that I needed to see. I was just sort of gliding through life, just holding my chin up, just going through life like a zombie. And one weekend I decided I'm going to hold myself up in my room. And I heard a knock on the door. And I said to my roommate, if anyone comes to the door for me, just don't answer it. Just don't let anyone in to see me. I don't want to see anyone. And don't let anyone in. So she said, well, it's your Mima at the door. And I said, just pretend like we're not here. I don't want to see anyone. So I went down after she left, because she had left a bag of goodies or whatever at the door. But there was a note, and it said my name. It said, I'm going to go sit in the car or something like that. And if you want me to come up, call me or something like that. I don't know. Something. It wasn't about that. It was just something about, if you want me to come up and see you, call me. Okay? And I love you. And after I got that little letter, that little note, I thought to myself, geez, she never did nothing wrong to me. She's been my number one supporter. She did nothing but nurture me all my life. And I can't be mean to her. And I thought to myself, my depression or whatever it is not only affecting my quality of life, it is affecting her. And I don't want to hurt her. So I kept that note. That note is, geez, it's over 30 years old now. And I always I keep it and I just look at it and I just say to myself, that's when you're real low. That was probably the lowest you'll ever be because you didn't let your number one supporter in. It's one thing to say, I don't want to see my friends, I'll see my family. That's one thing. But when you start cutting off the people that you're closest to, that is a red flag. You better get you some help. You know what I'm saying? So I always keep that just as a reminder, like, oh, that was real dark. That was real dark. And you ain't never going to be that way anymore. So, and like I said, I will never be that way. I will get myself help immediately. But if you have those red flags, get yourself help immediately as well. Because that's when you're in your danger zone. You know your danger zone. But anyways, yeah, I don't know why I'm ranting on about mental illness and all that, but that's just how I feel today. That's what I know. I know depression, anxiety. I have extensive family members with those things. But it's time to move past that. I made those videos when I first started my YouTube channel in the hopes that someone would watch it and say, hey, the same thing happened to me, blah, 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 and they feel better. But there has to be a time when you move past those things. They may always be there, but you have to move past them. Those things aren't happening now. And Ms. Nell has a thing where she likes to live in the past. I like my old TV shows. I like my old songs. I like things like that. And that's okay. But don't get too deep in the past that you forget, the living. You forget the people that are still here. You forget that life goes on. life carries on. Things change. You know, what you thought about was going to happen last year isn't happening this year. This is a whole new thing, right? It's the same when you walk into an old city. The old buildings are gone. They're replaced with new things. Maybe there's a new club or a new shopping mall. Things change. They get better, you know. So that's how you got to think of life. But anyways, and reach out to people. Reach out to people. You might feel rejection here, rejection there. Eventually, you're going to find a group of wacky, wild people like yourself, and you're going to fit in with them. At least pop in and say hi once in a while. Go for a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Nothing has to be, you know, blow you out of the water fantabulous. It doesn't have to be like that. Just simple. For me, keeping my life simple is just so much easier. I ain't got no drama. The only drama I got is the drama people bring to me. And then sometimes I like to look online and look at that little bit, you know, little bits of drama there. But I just don't have no drama in my life. I don't engage in it, and I don't want to be a part of it. Most people know that. Simple things. Look at the flowers. Go for a walk. Sit at the beach. Just think of how things used to be in the old days. There wasn't all this fancy stuff. Just go back to the basics, you know. And anyways, I'll let you go, but I'm going to start doing more lives. Just when I said I was going to quit YouTube, I'm going to start doing more lives. Maybe I don't talk in them. Maybe I just sit there, and if y'all post a comment, I'll respond, obviously. Or if you want some sort of advice, I'll respond, obviously. But maybe there'll be days I just sit there and read what you got to say. And I don't really say nothing back. And guess what? That's okay. Because if someone doesn't like me, they can move along. Move along.